On tonight's episode, we're going to review Won't You Be My Neighbor?
And more pop culture news. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. For a neighbor.
Oh, that's right. Won't you be mine?
Mm-hmm.
Won't you be mine?
Oh, look, here's Trolley.
Hey, Trolley.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hello.
So Trolley's here to introduce... Sorry, this is like uber cheesy. But Mr. Rogers was a big deal for me as a kid. So Trolley is here to introduce our first topic, which is the film Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yes.
Starring Tom Hanks.
The movie about Mr. Robinson, starred by Eddie Murphy. No, I'm kidding.
Different neighborhood.
The movie starred by the great Tom Hanks about Mr. Fred Rogers. It's based on an article for the Esquire magazine, and is about how Mr. Rogers changed or affect the journalist, the guy that wrote the article's life. And what did you think?
So, I'm obviously a huge diehard fan of Mr. Rogers, and he had a pretty big impact on me as a kid. I loved the film. I thought they did a great job of telling the story itself, but also a good way of showing just the impact that Fred Rogers had on people, what he means to people.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. I didn't know the movie would be solely about the journalist and the article, even though the trailer shows that it's pretty much it. I thought they would go deeper, and we actually see less of Mr. Rogers and more of the character, the reporter, the journalist that writes the article, and his life. And as in the beginning of the movie, Mr. Rogers introduced him as a friend, something that he used to do on his show with his friends. So he explored this guy's life, his problems, and Mr. Rogers comes and fixes everything.
There were... The film itself included a lot of nods and tributes to Mr. Rogers' television neighborhood. All of the establishing shots, like between scenes, were actually little like models or maquettes, just like they did on the show. You know, the beginning of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, they come in on the little model of his neighborhood. They had models of all the locations, New York and Pittsburgh and stuff.
And that, to be honest, that in the beginning threw me off. I didn't like it, but then it catch me. I started like, oh, okay, I like this. Because it's kind of like it's an episode of the show. It starts as he starts the show, arriving at home, singing, changing shoes, and putting the sweater. And then he introduces some of his friends, some of the known friends. King
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Lady Aberlin.
And then finally... Daniel, does he introduce?
Yeah, Daniel Tiger. Daniel's
and finally, Lloyd, the journalist, and then we go to Lloyd's story, and then he concluding the story, as he would conclude the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So the transitions are kind of like, I don't know, I don't like this, but then after a while, I was like, okay, it works.
I think if you'd grown up watching the show, the transitions wouldn't have felt as weird. It was very natural.
It's not.
Because that's how they would do it on the show.
Yeah. It's not because I knew it was from the show. I thought it was just like, this is kind of cheap. We know it's you know, but I guess when they conclude the movie and you understand and see that that's actually 1 2-hour long episode. So the transitions fit on the how they did everything.
Yeah. Another really nice moment is at one point Lloyd and Fred go to a restaurant, and as they're about to eat, Fred asks him to stop and spend a minute or have a minute of silence to think about all the people who have loved them into being. Maybe I cried a little bit at this part. Maybe I cried a bunch of times in the movie. But anyway, during this minute of silence, they pan around the restaurant and we see, I'm sure there are a bunch of other cameos in that scene, but the two I caught were Joanne Rogers, the real Joanne Rogers, Fred's wife, and also Mr. McFeely, of Speedy Delivery fame. So they were both in the restaurant. There were probably others that I didn't catch, but yeah, it was really beautifully done. Like we said before, just a good storytelling in itself, but also just a good tribute to Fred Rogers and what he did for the world.
Yeah. No, it was really good. Tom Hanks, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Terrific. The rest of the cast always... I mean, not always, but I don't know what they did in the past.
Stuff. But they did great, too.
The cast did a great job. Dominic Cooper as the father of the reporter, as a problematic father, and yeah, I'm not gonna give any spoilers. It's a known story. It happened in real life, but yeah, I still should go see it. It's fun. Yes. It's entertaining, and I don't know the real character very much. It doesn't affect me as it affect her and some other people. I only met the guy and his work through her not long ago, but still watching the movie, it gives a glimpse on how he would affect people's lives and how he did, and they did a terrific job showing that in the movie.
Yeah, definitely worthwhile seeing. It's just gonna make you feel good all over.
Yay!
Total subject change.
Some pop culture news.
Yeah.
What happened this week? First, Henry Cavill said that he's not done with the cape. He's not done portraying the Man of Steel. We shall see more. And he's willing to do more. He wants to do more. He wants to do justice to the character. He says it's not enough. There's more to be told. There's more to be done. And on his declaration, he said, what's coming next? And he says, you will see. He doesn't give details, but it's good to know that he's on board.
Yeah, I'm really okay with that. I think he's been a great Superman.
Yes.
I do not mind seeing more of that.
And definitely not enough. They should do way more.
They should. Speaking of more, it's sounding like Joker is going to get a sequel.
There's a lot of rumors and even some outlets confirming that there will be a sequel for the Joker, including Todd Phillips. The news tells that he will also produce movies about all the DC villains, doing the origins of some of the dark DC villains like they did for the Joker. And I don't know, the guy did a terrific job. He did a really great job with the first one, so I trust him to do a good job with the next one. But I thought it was a complete story.
Yeah, it doesn't need a sequel.
An origin story, We know what the Joker is going to do after that. He's going to terrorize Gotham and try to kill the Bat and kill the Bat family, including Robins and Barbaras and Batgirls and
Yeah. So it doesn't need a sequel, but I can't be too upset.
It's not like they're gonna give the sequel to, it's not like someone really great directed a movie and they're gonna give a sequel to some Bryan Johnson. Oops.
Ouch.
It's the same guy that gave that movie his best and made that movie great, and he might make a sequel and it might be good too. And there's one I think he has more power for the second one because the Joker passed 1 billion, is the first rated R movie to pass the billion, and the profits for the Joker are like up the roof because considering what the movie costs and what the movie is making, the studios will like, hey, we want more, make more. So he might have a bigger budget, he might have more power for the next ones. Not only the Joker sequel, but the other movies he's gonna be involved.
Okay. There's been growing support for the Snyder Cut. # release the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Yeah, last weekend was a big weekend for the # release the Snyder Cut, like Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal Gadot, and then Ben Affleck joined in.
Yeah.
Following Ray Fisher and Jason Momoa. So basically, most of the Justice League.
Oh, and the crew
in.
too. People that worked
Yeah.
on the photography, on the visual effects, on the music.
Mm-hmm.
People that worked with Snyder on all the Snyder movies.
Mm-hmm.
And comic book authors and artists.
Yeah.
And
Do you think we'll actually get it?
I hope so. Come on,
Yeah.
Warner. Don't you guys like to make money? Because if you
Because we're gonna
release
buy
it,
this. We will
they
spend
will
money
come.
on this.
People will buy it.
Yes.
Yeah. Use it as a marketing tool to release the HBO Max.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, release at the movie theaters. Whatever you do, people will watch it because, yeah, in Snyder we trust.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I feel kind of bad for Joss Whedon, though, at this point.
Just who? Okay, one quick one. What do we have?
How's Fallen Order going?
Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
It's really beautifully done. It's
Yeah.
very cinematic. The lighting on the game is like shadows and brights and lights. It's like playing in a movie. It's like they don't try to make it easier for you. It's like, oh, this is like super bright inside the cave. Now inside the cave is darker in the cave. You have to find ways to deal with that. The story is compelling. I just arrived in Kashyyyk where I met Saul Guerrero
Yeah.
from Clone Wars and
Rogue One.
So I hope.
Pre-breath mask.
Yes, and young and healthy. So we're gonna meet other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe Master Colin Voss, maybe Darth Vader.
That would be actually. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, The Force Unleashed has a great sequence with Darth Vader, but you never made it, so
Yeah.
I'll not spoil it for you. All for you guys. I guess that's it for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Bye. Does he say bye?
He does.
Yeah. How does it say?
He says,
I mean, regular on the show.
Yeah, as he leaves, he'll say, does he say goodbye, neighbor? I'll see you later. Anyway, he always says goodbye. So here's
She's the fan.
Charlie.
Bye, neighbor.
Yeah. Bye.